Peace, everyone. Peace to everyone that's coming into the chat. Peace to everyone that will watch the replay. I hope that everyone had a peaceful weekend. It was definitely a weekend of unexpected news, I'll say that. But that is how life is. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. And before that I get started on my tidbit topic, I want to start I want to start this off by showing my respect and love for the soul of Terrence O'Sells. And I called him Big Bro Snow. Um, if anyone has not heard that the brother transitioned, I believe this past Friday or yesterday. I apologize because it's all, blending together. So may Allah forgive me. I believe it was Friday. But despite whenever it was, um, I want to show my respect to him and to his wife, his children, his family, his friends, associates, and supporters of the work that he did. Snow is going to be missed. I appreciated Snow. I appreciated his perspective that was not always in alignment with the so called normal perspective. And that's one of the main things that I appreciate about him. And I'm glad that I had the opportunity to get to know him better. So I just wanted to say that about him. Um, and I'm only speaking out because his transition was confirmed by his wife on social media, I believe earlier today. So again, from God we come, and surely to God is our return. So um, I'm going to go ahead and move on from that. Um, it's just shocking news. So, and I don't want to get emotional about it, even though there's nothing wrong with that. It's just so unexpected. So I will continue to keep his family in my highest thoughts and prayers. So um, today I woke up from a dream that was, honestly, it was a little violent. And it was a dream about Flint. And it was also a dream about death. And I woke up with the feeling that if you are not protecting yourselves spiritually, metaphysically, If you are not protecting your children spiritually or metaphysically, then you need to step up your game and do so now. I don't know what else to say after that except to be who you say that you are. If you say you are a Christian, then let your actions prove that. If you say that you are a Muslim, let your actions prove that. You can't just show up to a building on Sundays or Fridays for prayer service and then that's it. You have to, I really feel like we are in the days of clinging on to God, even if it's a fiber of hope or a fiber of faith or a thread of hope and faith. Whatever it is, cling to it with all of your might. Because what is greater? What can help you besides the Creator? What else, who else can you turn to? So the message is to guard your heart. And I split this message up into two segments. And guarding your heart and praying for yourself, protecting your family, that is a form of self-care. So also I'm gonna say this: if you have been hiding under a rock or been out to lunch these past few years, then let me tell you that our children, it's an all-out war on our children. And it's been going on for years. Years. Okay. So guard your heart. Let me make this bigger for everyone. I spoke about this before, and this was during the interfaith prayer and fast. And I spoke about the spirit of Jezebel and this, well, and I did not speak about the spirit of Delilah, but Delilah came to me today. I've had personal conversations about the spirit of Delilah, but I've been more open about the spirit of Jezebel, which, as a Muslim, that Jezebel and Delilah are not spoken about in the Quran. Again, jinn are spoken about, Jinn, and this is what we would consider Jezebel and Delilah, that spirit of those two characters. Jezebel is running rampant in Flint. And I know a few of them that have that characteristic of Jezebel. And I do not interact with Jezebel. The spirit of Jezebel is manipulation, power and control, slander, deceit, a lying tongue, hypocrisy, disrespect of male authority, and whoreism. The spirit of Delilah, seductive, personal gain at the expense of others, also manipulation, will humiliate you, betrayal, has a lack of genuine connection in relationships, and exploits others. A person can have more than one spirit on them. I also see that. I also see people operating in both spirits. And these are people of influence. And it is running amok. And so I think, unfortunately, that for those of us in Flint and in Genesee County, we may see things get worse before they get better. And I would like for everyone that is listening to this to take accountability in seeing who is in front of you, and seeing who you are conversing with, and seeing who you are interacting with. You need to really exercise discernment, because Jezebel and Delilah could be right there in front of your face. It could be someone that you call your mother, your sister, your friend, your lover, your spouse. Please be aware of that. How do you guard your heart? By protecting the gateways to your heart. In Islam, we go through a purification process before we pray, before we make our daily prayers. We call it wudu, WUDU, wudu. And it's like I said, it's a purification process where we wash our hands, rinse out our mouth, our nose, wash our face, our forearms, the top of our head, our ears, behind our ears, the back of our neck, and our feet. In the Old Testament, and I want to say maybe even in the New Testament, in the Bible, there is a process of wudu, although it's not in those steps, but you do read where the prophets wash their face before they pray to God, including Jesus, peace be upon him. So this is just not an Islamic process. It is proof of it in the Bible. And so the gateways to your heart, your hands, what are you touching? Is what you're touching an error for you, a sin? Will it, how do I want to say, will it darken your heart? Your mouth, what are you responding to? What have you said? What words did you use? Your nose, what are you smelling? And I know that might sound weird, but some smells can lure you to trouble. It can lure you to an error. Your eyes, what are you watching? What TV shows are you watching? Including porn. So what are you witnessing with your eyes that could endanger your heart, which means make you grow to love that error? What are you hearing with your ears? What are you listening to? Are you listening to gossip, slander? The back of your neck. I recently heard, or I watched like what I want to call it, a reel, and it was a woman on there talking about protecting your neck and how you should be mindful of that. And in her words, she called the neck a portal, because the ritual of when we pray, and more specifically, you hear it in the church world, bow your heads. And so you bowing your heads and it's opening up or expanding your neck. And so your neck could be then considered a gateway to what you're worshiping. What are you bowing down to? In Islam, we make salat when we go into the position of sujood on our prayer mat. We're bowing. We're putting our forehead on the prayer mat. So what are you bowing down to? What are you servicing? Your feet. What are you walking towards? Are you walking towards an error? Are you walking towards something that you have no business walking to? Are you walking towards the liquor store to buy liquor? And excuse me for those who drink alcohol. I'm not being judgmental at all. Um, but I'm gonna be authentic. I'm gonna be myself. I don't drink alcohol. Alcohol is a another way of opening yourself up to a spirit to invade you to where you don't have control over yourself. So just think about what I'm saying. What are you allowing your feet to walk you towards? What sin, what error, what thing that is not beneficial to your life? Are you walking towards drama? Are you walking towards trouble? Are you walking towards somebody else, a gathering that's going to result in trouble, that's going to result in nothingness? Are you being lured by Jezebel and Delilah? Is Delilah sweet talking you, whispering like Shaitan? The Shaitan whispers, the devil whispers. Is Delilah whispering sweet nothings in your ear? If so, you need to go rinse out your ear. I hope that makes sense. Um, Not only should you be doing this, but teach your children. Teach your children how to protect their gateways to their hearts. You should be monitoring them as well as teaching them. So when they are alone, when they are back in school, when they are over so and so's house, they should know how to guard their heart, how to guard their body. Okay, let me go to the next slide. Be who you say that you are spiritually. Your actions should match your words. Again, if you are a Christian, be Christian. If you are a Muslim, be Muslim. Pray, 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 pray. Some people get irritated when they hear me or others say pray. In all honesty, I'm not even sure if everyone knows how to truly pray. I don't know if everyone truly knows how to meditate. I don't know if everyone truly knows how to connect to God, to the Creator. And if not, fine. Find out how to do this according to your spiritual lifestyle. The dream I had, I'm telling you, I'm not going to go into detail about it. But again, I was on a specific side of town in Flint. I was in Flint. And I saw death. I saw physical death. And I woke up with the feeling of we have to protect ourselves spiritually because, like everyone says, we are in a spiritual warfare. How do you fight? How do you protect yourself in spiritual warfare? What other way? You can't use a gun, a knife. What other way could you fight and protect yourself and your dwelling, your household, and your family in spiritual warfare. You need to be who you say that you spiritually are. Let me see. Let me see if I have anything in the chat before I go to the second part of this message. All right, let me scroll up. Peace to Brandon. Peace to Lil Mama. Flint City Limits. Peace. Yes, rest in heaven to the snowman. Lil Mama, my condolences to Terrence and his family and all that loved him. I'm going to miss him. Me as well. Peace, Debbie Clark. Rest in heaven, Snow. Peace to you, Miss Debbie. Peace, Taz. Rest in power, Big T, aka Snow. Hugs, thoughts, and prayers to all that loved him. Peace, Shay. Peace, good sis. I'm so glad to see you on here. So, I hope what I said in regards to spiritually protecting ourselves is making sense. If anyone wants to add to that, please do. I just want everyone to be aware. My intentions is just to give the message, to give what I'm being led to give. And we just need to step our game up and really look out for ourselves and each other. This is part of self-care. You have to take care of yourself first, and then you can take care of your family. Remember what I said about maybe a few days ago, earlier this week, or maybe it was last week. I really can't remember. But the distractions lead to a cycle of nothingness. The distractions are showing up, in my opinion, as Jezebel and Delilah. Look around. Look around. Flint, wake up and come from up under that spell. Come up from up under that witchcraft. Pay attention, because your life depends on it. The second part, loving for your brother and sister what you love for yourself. This is part of self-care. This was on my heart today as well. So I'm going to just use something from a hadith or a saying from Islam that Prophet Muhammad stated. We call it a hadith. Peace and blessings be upon him. None of you truly believes until he loves for his brother what he loves for himself. There's a lot of jealousy, a lot of envy. And in my opinion, jealousy and envy comes from self-doubt and low self-esteem. If we all truly wanted and loved, if we all wanted each other to have what we want to have, we shouldn't operate in the spirit of jealousy and envy, in my opinion. But it's when you have self-doubt, is when you want to have all of the resources, all of the wealth, all of the glory, all of the attention, all of everything, and you want others not to have anything. That's an imbalance. That's um that's just an error. And if we truly are who we say we are, then we wouldn't be doing this as spiritual beings. We wouldn't be fighting like this. And again, I'm going to use Flint as an example. If you are truly about caring for a community, if you are truly about bettering the community, there's no way you should spend your time dogging other people out, fighting about who said this and who said that. You should not spend your time being a distraction. So I think some of us need to really work on ourselves first and be accountable in that. Be accountable with looking within ourselves. And a lot of us don't want to do that. A lot of us cannot sit in silence. A lot of us cannot sit in isolation and admit some things about ourselves. That's part of the healing work. That's part of confronting traumas. That's part of confronting the not so good you. And that's part of being honest about who you are and how you have treated others. I hope that makes sense. So, self love and love for others is self care. Kindness and compassion to others can contribute to one's own well being. When you have compassion for yourself, you should have it for others. Kindness for yourself, kindness for others. Avoiding harsh self criticism. Don't criticize others. Forgiveness of yourself. Forgive others. Understanding your own emotions so that you can understand others' emotions. Recognizing your own worth so that you can see the worth in others. Should be a daily practice because this will affect our children as well, our descendants. Practice daily gratitude. Reflect on all the good that's in your life. Acquire knowledge and engage in intellectual pursuits for mental stimulation and growth. Quit quit being comfortable with knowing what you already know. Quit being comfortable repeating the same old thing. Quit being comfortable saying, woe is me, woe is us, woe is the black man, woe is the black woman, woe is the black children. Quit being comfortable with blaming others. And then when somebody come to you about what you have done, you looking crazy, like you perfect. Quit being comfortable with blaming religious leaders in the community because what the hell are you doing? What are you doing? Quit being comfortable with blaming so and so. I don't know, any politician, but quit being comfortable saying the same old thing day after day. That's stagnation. And that's like having like a dead mentality. There's no growth in that. You stuck. Unstuck yourself. Love yourself so much that you will start to evolve mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Because when you're stagnant, you are not good to anyone, not even yourself. Engage in the remembrance of God, pray, uh, meditate, dhikr, that's an Islamic word for the remembrance of God. Um, all of this is about connecting back to who you say that you are, to who you say that you believe in, that you worship, etc. Pause and take a break from social media, from friends, from family, so that you can rejuvenate yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. That's part of self care. Start doing that. Last slide. Be authentic. Show up as who you really are. The world has enough actors and actresses. Be you, not who you think people want you to be. Be honest, which goes hand in hand with being authentic. You know, I always tell my children this. It's an old saying from the elders: catch a liar, catch a thief. When you lie, when you engage in falsehood, then you steal from your character. You think you're getting ahead in something and you're not. You're stealing from your character, because after it's been confirmed that you are a liar, that you are a thief, that becomes your character. You have descended in your character. That's one of the major lesson that I strive to teach my children, because that I cannot stand a liar. And lying and stealing goes hand in hand. Strengthen your communication skills. This is also part of self-care. Remember when I did the first season, the first season of the Revolution, and I was talking about speak your truth, and I had T from the D on there as a guest speaker, and I talked about the energy of one's throat. Some people call it the throat chakra, but your words, your voice, how you express yourself should be a purifier. It should be a cleanser. So you're going to have to avoid gossip, backbiting, slander, but your voice, your words should bring purification. It should bring honesty. It should bring truth. And this also goes with being authentic, in my opinion, and being honest. A lot of us are walking around here pretending. A lot of us are showing up in falsehood, and we're looking like hypocrites. And it's starting to, well, not starting to, but is developing to a mental health crisis. Because when you show up as a hypocrite, when you don't show up authentically as yourself, it causes chaos and confusion. And that is the state of the community of Flint. Quit relying on other people to make Flint better and focus on yourself. These politicians are not going to save you. Save yourself first. Save yourself first so that you can save your family, so that you can save your children who are being hunted down. Save yourself first. I'm gonna go back to the chat. That was my last slide. I hope that makes sense how I titled it. The energy you put out will return to you. Because again, that goes back to a cycle of nothingness. If you cannot be your authentic self and you cannot commit yourself to essentially the process of evolution, it's like you a dead man walking, in my opinion. And this is all self-care. Who you hang around, who you want to become, who your family, I don't want to say who your family is, but how are you raising your family to be? What are you doing with your family? I hope I'm not just rambling. I hope I'm making sense. If I am rambling to some people, please be honest with me and put it in the chat. And I hope I could clear it up. Okay, Shay says it's crazy because it all belongs to God anyway. I understand that, Shay. I understand that. It's important to recognize the red flags of Jezebel and Delilah. Yeah, and I'm going to keep on talking about it because it's right in our face. And it's that power and control task is, in my opinion, that is the foundation of all sin, of all error, of all chaos and confusion. Just think about it. To want to control others, how they think, how they move, who they like, who they vote for, that's crazy. That's insanity. And to me, that's witchcraft. Everyone allegedly has free will, correct? All you really have to do is just respect the fact that they think differently from you or they move differently from you. You don't even have to engage with that person. But to try to control others and what they're doing, and you know what I have found in my own personal life, when I have encountered, I got a certain person in my mind that I've encountered, and I've concluded that people that focus and they hone in on controlling others cannot control their own personal life. They have no control over their own personal life. And what I mean by control is they are unable to discipline themselves. They are unable to organize and structure their own personal lives. They can't deal with themselves. They can't deal with healing from traumas. They can't deal with admitting to the traumas that they had a hand in with other people. They have no discipline on disciplining themselves. So the next step is to try to control other people. Just my opinion. Peace to Jafia Cole. What are some good self-love activities? I would say sitting in silence. That's one of my favorites. I could sit by myself and just think, right? And what comes to my mind is I journal. So I journal affirmations. I journal on, okay, what do I want to work on? What do I need to improve on? Get to know yourself. You know, the older you get, in my eyes, you should become more liberated with who you are. Other self-love activities, this might sound silly, but if you like to color, there are adult coloring books. Coloring calms you down. What do you like to do? Do you like to go get your nails done? Do you like to go take walks? Do you like to go out to eat? You don't have to go out to eat with your friends, go and take yourself out to eat and enjoy your own company. Go to a movie by yourself or enjoy your home by yourself. Enjoy your yard by yourself. Just engage with yourself. Enjoy your own self. Enjoy your own energy. I hope that makes sense. And I hope I'm saying your name right, Jafia. Jafia Cole. Taz, some folks aren't happy unless there's drama or chaos happening. Stay away from miserable people. Misery loves company. Absolutely. Shay, you can learn something new every day. Absolutely. And I think some people don't like change. So learning something new can intimidate others. I don't I, or intimidate themselves, excuse me. Next comment. Stealing from your character, that's a good one. Shay, child, listen, that came to me a few years ago. And like I said, that's a lesson that I have been instilling in my children. And I hope it's working because the fact of the matter is, once your character is damaged or you destroy your character, it's hard to get it back on track. It's hard to shoot prove to others that you can be trusted. That's very dangerous to be known as a liar and a thief. So yeah, I really hone in on that with my children. Shay, honestly, sis, I learned from therapy. I didn't know how I was showing up because I didn't know who I was. I think a lot of people suffer from that. Yes, I would agree with you 2000%. I am still learning myself in my 40s. And there's nothing wrong with that. Because, think about it. We've been conditioned since we didn't came out the womb. Society has conditioned us. Um, our family, of course, our first teachers, our mothers, our fathers, our family members. And we're conditioned to be a certain way, even if we are not in agreement with it. Excellent point. Thank you for sharing, Shay. Taz says that's not productive at all. Sit up blaming pastors, don't nothing, but don't maybe do nothing but whine and complain every day. Yeah, and I mean, it's really egotistical, and is maybe it's self-soothing for those that do that. People have a hard time with being accountable, and that's just a fact. So we have to look within ourselves and be accountable to take care of our minds, hearts, guarding our. I'm gonna keep preaching that. Taz says, yeah, stay away from me if you're dipping in witchcraft. I agree. But you got to know what to look for in witchcraft. And it can really be something simple, very simple. Maybe the idea of, I don't know, performing spells or whatever we've seen on TV, but is something, a lot of times it's just very simple stuff that we see every single day. And again, that's just my opinion. You have to really use discernment and you really have to listen to what people are saying to you, and you have to watch them. That is like one of the biggest lessons that I have learned in Flint recently. And I'm not picking on Flint. I'm not. I really am not. I know this is everywhere, this issue, but I'm just going off the dream that I had, right? And this is what I see. You know, I have said it in other previous tidbits that I can no longer watch Flint City Council. And I literally cannot. I have tried to just dip in and at least watch the public speaking. I can't even do it. The energy is just that strong and it's just that wicked. I can no longer align myself with that. I cannot engage in that. It does not do me any good. I clearly see it's a cycle of nothingness. And this is what I told Brandon recently. I told Brandon, um, Taz, and Little Mama this recently. A couple of days ago, I had the thought of, if I look back, if I look at certain um, platforms, if I tune into certain platforms, if I tune into Flint City Council, that I feel like I would turn into a pillar of salt or stone, like Lot's wife did in the Bible. I just remember that story from my childhood when I had a children's Bible, and my children's Bible had these beautiful illustrations. And that story I can remember as a child in elementary school. I was actually in Catholic school. And I remember always looking at that picture of this woman looking back, and she's turned into stone because she was not obedient to God. And I feel like that is the stagnation that I'm talking about. I feel like if I God is telling me, Talibah, if you continue to align yourself with that nothingness, that's exactly how you will end up, in a state of nothingness. So I can't look back. I have to continue to look forward. I have to continue to move forward. And moving forward, that requires me to gain knowledge. It requires me to expand my mindset. It requires me to cling on to God by any means necessary. And so that's my plan. All this other foolishness, I ain't got time for it. If anyone has an issue with me or anything that I say or my opinion, tough, deal with it. And if you bold enough, woman enough, call me, contact me and let me know so that we can have a conversation. If you're a man and if you have an issue with me, then you get in contact with my husband. Period. I'm just, I'm done with it. I don't know what else to say after that. If you cannot see that our families are under attack, our babies, and you sitting up here causing chaos and confusion, what can you do with that but move away from it? You don't go towards the hellfire, you run from the hellfire. Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, Shay said, yes, I can't watch it or much of it either, especially after the fast. And Shay, thank you for bringing up that fast. Maybe that was part of it too. You know, I'm gonna say this also because I'm going on an hour, 50 minutes. Um, and I don't like to go over 30 minutes with these tidbits. But um, that fast, Shay, thank you for bringing it up. It really has caused me. It has allowed me to see things, to see people more clearer, and I'm good with that. I've recognized, people are exposing themselves and don't even realize it. I've been saying that for a few months now, for quite a few months. But more and more people are exposing themselves. And exposure is good for us so that we know who people really are. Um, all I can say is Alhamdulillah, all praise is due to God. That's all I can say. Keep exposing yourself so I know who to align myself with and who not to. But I refuse. I cannot. I have tried to look at that counsel. No. So I can't do it. It's time to move forward because that's just a cycle of nothingness. And I don't see anyone trying to move this city forward. I don't see anyone. So you know what? Talibah is about to focus on Talibah. And Talibah is about to focus on her family. The Quran tells us, save yourself first and then your family. So that's my self care. I hope I made sense. Um, I hope that this tidbit is beneficial to others that hear this, because that's my intentions to encourage other people to do good for themselves, to do good for their families. Um, guard yourself, protect yourself, guard your heart, protect your gateways to your heart. And that's really it, y'all. That was my message for today. Um, protect yourself by any means necessary. If the Bible is your way of protecting yourself, then you better open it up. The Quran, you better open it up. Whatever it is, meditating, uh, whatever it is that you do, affirmations, all of that, do it. Speak good into your life. I don't care what's going on. This is one last point before I end this. I don't care what's going on in this world, in this country, in whatever city that you're in. I don't care if it's a war outside of your bedroom window, outside of your front door. Focus on yourself. That reminds me of the book of Psalms, Psalm 91. And Brandon, if you're still on here, you're going to have to help me out about that part about 10,000 at your right hand and another 1,000 at your side or something like that. Uh, hold on. Hold on, y'all. Let me pull it up because I got my Quran and my Bible right here. So let me go to it real quick. Y'all be patient with me. Let me put on my bifocals real quick, y'all. I apologize. I always forget this part. Okay, so Psalms 91, verse 7. 1,000 may fall at your side and 10,000 at your right hand, but it shall not come near you. Only with your eyes shall you look and see the reward of the wicked. Y'all better observe, trust in God, and mind your business. Don't you go out here jumping into these wars that ain't got nothing to do with you, that was caused by Jezebel and Delilah. You let they whores fight with them. You're not a whore. Don't you whore yourself out to Jezebel and Delilah because you think the reward is a pot of gold, some money, some type of materialism, a title. Y'all, we are in a time where we need to hold on to our faith. I don't care what Trump is doing. I don't care what none of these so called powers that be are doing. You better rise above that in your thinking and in your emotions. Not only believe it, but know it and trust it. And on that note, I'm going to end. Again, I want to extend my condolences to my big bro Snow, who I am going to miss dearly. I thank him. I thank Snow for encouraging me. I thank Snow for being who he was. I thank Snow for checking up on me and asking if I am good. You good, sis? He will message me. I pray that Snow felt the love that he gave out. And I sincerely pray for his wife and his children and his family. Thank you all for tuning in. I love you all. And please, please, please protect yourself. Practice discernment and be safe. I love you. Peace.